Welcome to Tridenlogy, the channel that's all about fascinating facts and discoveries.
In this episode, we're going to discuss a topic that holds great importance in our personal lives: the signs of a low-value man. Understanding what constitutes a low-value man can help us make informed decisions about our relationships and personal growth. This video will delve into the characteristics and behaviors that may indicate a man lacks self-worth, respect, and integrity. By recognizing these signs, we empower ourselves to set healthy boundaries, prioritize our well-being, and seek out relationships that align with our values. 1. He can't tolerate you saying no. To be clear, it takes a good woman who is not afraid to interpret whether he actually cannot tolerate your no. We can sometimes misinterpret a man's intentions. This means you unintentionally impose your interpretation on a man's actions, which is perfectly normal and human. And you could have been doing this throughout your dating life, not realizing that there are consequences to drastically misinterpreting men's intentions. So how do you actually know if he can take your no or not? To begin, tell him no while remaining completely connected to him. Don't do anything for the sake of appearing more valuable. As a woman, it's easy to misunderstand a man's reaction in that particular time as apprehensive or terrified of actually bonding with him, or even just judgmental. In effect, we believe he cannot tolerate it, but we emotionally distanced ourselves from him before we could genuinely know whether he is willing to accept our no. So if you're absolutely present with a man and he's totally present with you, if you say no to being touched or grabbed, or say no to anything else, and he just gets furious at you for not giving him what he wants, you can be pretty sure he's being low value. If, in reaction to your boundaries or saying no, he wants to bring you down for it and can't connect tenderly and playfully with you, or even laugh in fun with you when you say no, he may have poor mate value. 2. He puts you down. Not only do stupid people like me say this, but scientists do as well. Putting a woman down is an insecure, low-value man's strategy of keeping her tethered to him, lowering her self-esteem, and making her believe that her other alternatives in men are limited. The greater a guy's ability to make a woman doubt herself, the more likely a little man is to make his lady feel small as well. And then, he's locked down his reproductive future. As I previously stated, it is not only me who has discovered this. Some of the world's most prominent researchers have discovered this by analyzing humans in the dating market. Women can become trapped in this circumstance because, in general, with exceptions, we feel guilty more than men do, and some men detect this about women and can exploit it. They keep you in their relationship by instilling guilt in you. Don't participate in that game. Rather, jab him in the eye and flee. I'm joking. Simply run. What's awful about this low-value trait in guys isn't necessarily that the man has it, it's that many women tolerate it. You get what you tolerate, therefore be an example and refuse to be treated like a piece of shit on his shoe. 3. He is overly concerned about his image. It's all for show. I have a hard time trusting men like this since he isn't self-sufficient and of substance, even if he has the potential to be. And every man has the ability to be one. How can you believe a man who spends more time painting an image than he does doing business? How can you put your faith in a man who spends more time defending himself than disclosing himself? A man who is image-focused often finds it difficult to stay connected because he is too fearful and feels unworthy. He's fixated on the image because he believes it will establish his worthiness for connection. This is not a negative statement. This is being conscious. As mammals, we are motivated by survival and sex. These things motivate some of us more than others. Don't be duped by the image. Some men are willing to risk virtually anything for sex and the appearance of status. And status is still a prerequisite for sex and power. Men who don't believe they have many options will approach sex and women as if it's the last time they'll ever have it. I understand that none of this sounds pleasant, but it is critical that you are aware. Knowledge makes you powerful. When it comes to relationships, men, and sex, you naturally wield a lot of power as a woman. Add to it your understanding of men, and you've acquired more power than is fair. The good news is that many men do not act in this manner. There are many men out there who value commitment and cooperation. Just though it's in the limbic system doesn't mean all guys behave in this manner on a daily basis. 4. He always chooses low-value friends. He will frequently choose less than average friends out of fear. That is, he hangs out with friends who are on the same or lower level as him. Sometimes it's because he feels mediocre, and as a result, his ego is terrified of mingling with individuals who are ahead of him. Examine whether he is open to the possibility of befriending high-value, high-status men. The essential factor is his willingness to befriend men who are more successful than him. Just because he has slacker friends does not necessarily imply that he is undervalued. He could be transitioning from specific pals to new friends, or he could be attempting to persuade his buddies to improve. There are men who purposely avoid establishing friends with men who are better than them because they don't feel good enough and want to avoid the reality and challenge of creating something of their lives. Now, if you have a truly wonderful man, it is unavoidable that some of his buddies will not be as accomplished or sincere as he is, and this is natural. 5. He is quick to criticize other men and women. We desire to put people down when we feel insufficient and are not striving for more. And we put others down in order to keep our comfortable position. If we brought others up instead, we'd have to admit that where we're at isn't ideal, which can be difficult at times. Putting others down is a tactic used by a man who is afraid, doesn't want to change, prefers to stay small, and perceives the world through a scarcity lens. The success of others contradicts his own. I feel that a truly successful guy, or woman, is eager to learn from others and understands that if others succeed, it is a sign of what is achievable for him as well. 6. He is stingy, not just to you but to other people as well. You don't want a man who is so disconnected from reality that he is oblivious to your sentiments. Instead, he lavishes you with presents despite not knowing you and attempts to purchase your love. You also don't want a man who is so out of sync with you that he appears to withhold everything valuable from you, such as connection, attention, and money. You want a man to progressively become more generous with you as he opens up and feels safe enough to share his resources with you. However, occasionally we unwittingly become involved with a man who is generally stingy. It's not about money at all. What is a man's lack of generosity a reflection of? It reflects his feelings about the world and the resources available to him, and it indicates that he lacks confidence in taking initiative and being resourceful. Of course, we may forgive a younger man for this trait, because learning not to be stingy takes time. Unfortunately, some guys continue to be stingy. A man who lacks confidence in his abilities will be more frugal. A man who isn't generous confines himself. He may not be a very resourceful individual if he is stingy. Of course, there are exceptions, and it is dependent on the context. So just because a man was stingy once does not indicate he would always be stingy. There are, of course, many levels of generosity. He is not required to pour his money, attention, time, or intellectual thoughts out like water from a faucet. It all comes down to his willingness to share a piece of himself or what he has. It is up to you to decide how generous you want to be. A woman who is all right with her guy being stingy is allowing him to remain little, and it will have an effect on you. If you spend enough time with him, she will also be small and think small. 7. You sometimes feel physically ill at the thought of sleeping with him. Your body does not lie. I don't mean because he has food in his teeth or poor breath. There is no need to stay with a man because your rational thinking believes you should be more open to the idea of giving additional men a chance. There's no need to be overly pleasant. If everything else about him is perfect, but you can't sleep with him without feeling nauseous, then all you're actually doing is exchanging sex for his resources. Remember, recognizing the signs of a low-value man is an important step in valuing yourself and creating healthy, fulfilling relationships. By identifying these red flags, you can set clear boundaries and make informed decisions about the kind of partner you want in your life.
Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more content on personal development and self-improvement. See you in next video.